All right. I want to say, first of all, that the scoreline of this match does not reflect the field of play that took place in this game. A lot of times, scorelines can be misleading. Um, because if you look at this game, and I'm going to stick to the first half for now. The first half, by the end of the first half, Mexico had 70% of the ball possession, and by the end of this game, they registered almost double the amount of efforts on goal than Germany did. Once Germany went ahead 2-0, I believe it was in the 7th or 8th minute, they sat back, they absorbed pressure, they allowed Mexico more of the ball, and Mexico really had pretty decent opportunities to at least pull one back before halftime. And as far as Mexico is concerned, I'm going to go with Mexico first, then talk about Germany. Mexico, there's praise and there's criticism. Here's the praise. The praise is that when they went down 2-0, they did not allow that panic to set in that allowed Germany to open the floodgates and have what could have been another 7-0. I'm sure for a lot of you Mexican fans, when Goretzka netted that second, it looked like this could be heading for another replay of last year, the Copa America Centenario, with the 7-0. But Mexico held firm. They did not throw caution to the wind much in the same way that Brazil did at the 2014 World Cup when they went behind to Germany in the first 15 minutes, I think 2 or 3-0. Mexico remained composed. They got more of the ball. They applied a lot more pressure. Some of that opening minute those opening minute nerves, the jitters went away. And I felt that Mexico overall woke up. The criticism is that Mexico has to stop getting themselves in this position in the first place to where they have to come back. Because this is the 4th time in a row in this tournament. All 4 of their games, they conceded first, and they were left having to claw their way back into the match. They did it very effectively against Portugal, New Zealand, Russia, but they couldn't do it against a German machine that was just much more efficient and more clinical in their finishes. Now, for Mexico, like I said in a previous video, the ability to come back strong in a game when you're down is a very, very good trait to have in a team. But it's also very frustrating because I know that Mexico, the Federation, the team, the fans, they want to break through that doorway. There's a door, and they want to step through that threshold. They want to break it open and enter that upper echelon with the other top teams in the world. And they have not been able to do it. And I think the question to ask is Mexico better off now than they were a year ago under Osorio? Has there been improvement? I'm going to make a video later, maybe in the next couple of days, God willing, on should Osorio stay or should he go? Because I think that's a topic that's worthy of its own discussion. But for now, for this game, I think that for Mexico, they found themselves in the same trap again. And in my opinion, I think the main problem is up here. You look at Mexico, the talent they produce at the domestic level in the Liga MX, I think they're right behind France, Germany, and Brazil as far as the pace in which they produce young upcoming talent. Not the same level as France, Germany, or Brazil, but not too far behind. I think what is preventing Mexico from taking that next step is mostly psychological. I do. And I think that this continued pattern of them starting off games horribly puts them in a position where they have to make up for lost ground. And dig themselves out of a completely unnecessary hole. So, for Mexico in this game, and like I said, you have to praise them for coming back strong and for being the dominant team in the first half, because like I said, the scoreline does not tell the whole story. And they arguably could have had 2-3 goals in this game. For Germany, one more thing I want to say about Mexico. I thought Fabian should have came on earlier than he did. I don't know why. I understand why Osorio played Dos Santos, but he looked completely out of play. He was like a phantom on the field. You couldn't tell he was on there. You couldn't even tell he was on the starting 11 at times. He was quiet. And I don't think he had a very good game. Shout out, though, to Fabian, Marco Fabian. That was probably the goal of the tournament so far. Absolute rocket of a kick. Completely caught the German backline off guard. Yeah, best goal of the tournament, I think, so far. In my opinion, at least. For Germany. Again, praise and criticism. This German team looks to be getting better with each passing game, as I mentioned previously in another video. The reason that they went ahead early was because they sliced Mexico's midfield wide open. And that's going back to the whole Gio Dos Santos point, where I thought that Gio Dos Santos looked really uncomfortable. Germany today, as always, were clinical in putting away all the opportunities that came their way, or nearly all of them. And one thing I have to give credit for Germany as well, in addition to that, is the fact that when Mexico pulled one back to make it 3-1, this was a team that was not content to end the game on that note. They pressed forward. Just a couple of minutes later, Eunice getting the 3-goal margin scoreline back in favor for them. And this is a team that really looks ruthless. I think this German team, all the runs that Timo Werner and Emre Can were running into the box were top class. And just the passing through those narrow, tight spaces were just so methodical. But I do have a couple of criticisms for Germany as well. Like I said, with Dos Santos having a bad game for Mexico, I thought Julian Draxler, I thought this was his worst game of this tournament so far. Draxler has been the talisman, the key, really, for Germany, this young team in this Confederations Cup. But the position that Joachim Löw played him in this game was awkward, because his positioning was very not really well suited to how Germany usually lines up, or how they did line up during the group stages. I thought that he remained mostly silent in this game. He had a couple of really nice 1-2 touches, passes late on in the second half, but for the most part, I thought that he just found himself in very isolated situations where he really didn't see much of the ball. Second criticism I have for Germany is the way they responded to going up 2-0 early on. Going back to what I said in the beginning, earlier in this video, when Mexico capitalized on that. Yes, Mexico came back into this with a lot of spirit, but Germany sort of allowed them to, because they gave up so much of the possession in the first place. And I felt that for Germany to do this is not something that Thomas Müller, Mesut Ozil, Jerome Boateng, Marco Reus, Toni Kroos would have done. And I think that's where their inexperience showed. It was on full display. And I'm a little bit worried, because I don't know how they're going to react to such a situation should that happen against Chile. Now, against Chile, it's probably very unlikely that Germany will go ahead early by 2 goals. But just how this German team responds to when they're in the driver's seat in the game versus when they're on the back foot is going to be very interesting to see what happens in that final. And I think in that final against Chile, this could be where that inexperience comes back to bite them. Overall, though, the better team did go through. The way that the events unfolded on the pitch, I thought this scoreline was easily deserving of like a 3-2. 4-1 is a little bit harsh given the way that Mexico came back into this. But, that's life. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you guys in my next video. I should be making another video tonight, very brief one, about the Gold Cup update. So until then, I'll see you later. Peace.